Yes, guys, what's happening, people? How you doing? We are back at We Are Tottenham TV. I forgot where we were for a moment. We're back at We Are Tottenham TV for another pre-match pump-up show. It's home against Crystal Palace. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love with the people that you love doing them with. Before I get going, guys, as always, please smash a like on your way in, or if you have to, on your way out, or at any intermittent period during the video where you feel the urge, hit the subscribe if you haven't already to We Are Tottenham TV. Also hit it to the people who run the channels that are here with us today. You've got me, the Spurs Talk Show. You've got Nikki over here from Shelfside Spurs. You've got the Irish Hotspur right below, and you've got Israel Undercovered over on the bottom right-hand side. Guys, I'm going to start off before I get into saying hello to you guys, just letting everybody know, just real quick, the game today is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kickoff is in just over an hour's time, an hour and 16 minutes. Referee today is Darren England, and the VAR is hosted by Neil Swarbrick. If you are watching the game on TV, which I presume you are, if you're in America, you can check it out on Peacock. And if you are in the UK and Ireland, then according to this note, you can watch it on Premier Sports. Certainly in Ireland. I'm not sure if that's available in the UK, but if it is, you can watch it there. Other than that, you might have to watch it on the Watch Along, which is being hosted, I believe. I don't know who's doing it today. Who's doing it today, boys?
Ben and Sim.
Ben and Sim, the captains of the ship are in the studio shortly. Before we get into the game and all the details, let me start by saying hello to the wonderful people that I'm shared and joined with. Let's start to my left. Nick, how are you, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. The weather just sums up Spurs at the moment. It's wet, it's horrible, it's cold, it's damp. So, yeah, another. Let's hope we turn up and play like we did in the second half at Anfield. And the second half against Man United. And the second half of nearly every game this season.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. It's good to see you, mate. It's good to have you. You're making your return. Your debut was a couple of weeks back, and you didn't know the rules of the game, where you were trying to be all pessimistic and say we were going to get smashed, and you didn't know I had to explain to you the rules of the game. And now you know. So let's hope for more positivity today. Let's go down.
If we get smashed.
If we get smashed, and I'm in the mud like I usually am. Let me go downstairs. Let me say hello to my man, the Irish Hotspur. Dave, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, my man. Look, like Barry said, hopefully we can see the second half that we've seen against Liverpool, minus the disaster right at the end. And look, hopefully we can go and win these last 4 games, because me, selfishly, I want European football next year.
Yeah.
We will be talking about that in just a moment's time. That's the first question I've got for you. But Amir, before we get there, how are you, Amir? What's going on with you, my man? Haven't seen you for a while. How's life? Good?
Yeah, doing well. I'm obviously devastated after what happened up at Anfield. I'm just really hoping and praying, really, that we just don't concede in the first 20, 25 minutes today. And I think that's key. That is key to winning this match. So I'm really pumped for this one. I think this is where our end of the season can swivel on. If we manage to get a win here, we can push on and hopefully nick a place in Europe. And that's the best we can really hope for at this stage.
All right, let me stay with you. Let me start with you, mate. Let's develop that one. Before we do, though, just so you know, the injury news that I'm looking at right now, going into the game, we are obviously without Yves Bissouma. Who's still got the ankle stress fracture. Ryan Messignon is still out with the hamstring that has been a plight on his entire career. We know Bentancur's out with the ACL, apparently until November. Emerson Royale, Chicken Royale, is still out with his knee injury.
Whoa. Stop with this Chicken Royale.
I'm not saying it as a slight, mate. I'm saying if Richarlison can do the pigeon dance when he scores, maybe Emerson Royale can do the chicken dance when he scores.
The rooster.
We'll start a trend. And Hugo Lloris is out with a hip injury, allegedly. We don't know how sincere that is. But let's look at Crystal Palace quickly. We've got Nauriuru, I'm not sure you say that name, Armada, like the Spanish Armada. He's out injured. So is James Tompkins, as is Nathan Ferguson, and James MacArthur are out for them. Amir, I'll start with you where we just finished off. Let's keep on the European theme. We currently sit in 7th spot. We're going in the wrong direction. 12 points to play for. Do you hold and harbour any realistic hopes of getting into the Europa League, or is it now just a case of Conference League or nothing? And if so, what would you rather have?
Well, I think I'll start with the obvious there. I'd rather be in the Europa League. You know, that competition is one that we've done well in the past. You know, we got to semi-finals. We've always been there or thereabouts. I'd love to see us in there. I'd love to see the youth coming through next season. Do I think we'll get it? You know, we live in hope. I really hope we do. Brighton have got some tough fixtures. So, you know, there is a chance there. There is a chance. Realistically, I think we're looking at Conference League. And I know this is a bit of a controversial one. You know, a lot of people are saying we don't want Conference League. You know, I'd rather be 8th and, you know, do what Arsenal did and just focus on the league this season and the cup competitions. I'm on the other side of the fence with that one. I would love to be in the Conference League and get the kids playing and take the competition seriously. I mean, if Roma go off and win it this season, I'm sure they're going to be celebrating and have another parade. So yeah, I really want to see us either in Europa or Conference. If we come 8th, I'll be very, very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Yeah, big up, Amir. Dave, I'll come to you next, mate. I know how you feel generally about the idea of playing twice a week. I share that concept with you. But listen, if you look at Roma, right, Roma are a team that, I don't know, like, you know, they're not that dissimilar to Tottenham historically. You know, a similar kind of size club, I guess, in Italy. And when you're looking at the comparisons, when they won under Jose Mourinho, they didn't scoff at it. They didn't dismiss it as irrelevant. They celebrated it like it was the best thing that's happened to them in years. Are Tottenham fans who dismiss this trophy, and I take Amir's point, and I'll let you both, you and Barry, go into it how you want to, but are we a little bit arrogant in sort of dismissing it and thinking that we shouldn't be focusing on that level of trophy? Or do you think it's right to take a step back from European football and let the rebuild happen gradually because we've got so much to work on anyway? Is it better to have one game a week?
Look, I understand the argument of having one game a week where a manager can actually just drill down on the training pitch, the tactics, the philosophy, and everything else. But, you know, from a player's perspective, they always do say they'd rather be playing games than training. But look, it's not just the fans that, not all fans, but it's not just the fans that are sort of turning their nose up at these European competitions. You know, you've got the players who turn their nose up at these lower-ranked European competitions because they're so spoilt of being in the Champions League over the last few years. We've seen in seasons gone by, some of them think they're too good to be there. They don't have the motivation to be out there. They don't look at it as a European competition. They sort of just dismiss it. But also, so does Daniel Levy to a regard, because, you know, even when he was in the Cambridge interview, he mentioned finishing top 4 above Arsenal and didn't mention the League Cup that we picked up. And for me, you know, I think that sort of stems down. They've sacked managers on the remit of not making top 4. So I think it's genuinely sort of bigger than just the fans wanting it. However, for me, look, I'm bored during the week. I'd rather watch Tottenham in there than a Brighton or Aston Villa, because all I'm going to get next season when I see it is the hanking that Tottenham should be in there. And I probably won't watch it with them in there because we don't have European football. But, Sean, it all comes down to me how we use it. If we're going to use it and persist with Dyer, Davies, Sanchez and people like that and roll them out there, I expect to see more of the same. If we decongest this squad this summer, sort of clear it out, you know, bring in a few signings, use it to blood some youngsters that the new manager think has a chance of making it at Tottenham Hotspur, and use it in the right way. You look how Arsenal have used it in years gone by. That's where Smith Rowe came through. That's where Saka came through and other players like that. And look at the benefits of it now. So for me, I don't think we're actually in a position at Tottenham Hotspur to snub any cup competition. I mean, right now, I'd snap your hands off for another Audi Cup. You know, I'll be brutally honest with you. For me,
I saw you celebrating the under-18s on Thursday night, mate.
Sean,
fair play. I loved it too. I was celebrating it too. It was good. Yeah,
I'm at the point I'd celebrate someone taking their first bite out of a Big Mac in McDonald's right now. I'm desperate to celebrate and score and win trophies, right? But look, for me, like I said, it all comes down to how you use it. You look at Jose Mourinho at Roma, he's used it as a stepping stone, a springboard, you know, to start his regime. And not only that, he could go on and win a Europa League this season. Yep. You know, he could do it back to back and then be in the Champions League next season. Who knows where it can take them? So for me at Tottenham, I don't think we should be in a position to dismiss it. I think we should be actually looking at it as a pathway to develop youngsters and also a springboard. If you can win that, you know, we always say once you get one trophy over the line, more tends to come. People get more hungry. So why not use that as a springboard for the new manager and Tottenham going forward? That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I love it, mate. Love it. I sort of sit somewhere between both you and Amir. Bazza, do you? I mean, first and foremost, go where you want with it. Let me know your thoughts. So which one do you sit with, Amir or Dave on this? But I'd also ask you to include, like, is there a consequence if you do decide to go and we get into it and we go with the youth? If it doesn't work out, similar to what happened last time round, although for different reasons, if you go with youth team that have got the appetite for it, but they're just they're bested by, farmers leagues in Slovenia or whatever, is there knock-on effects and consequences to the confidence of their growth and their development, or is it something that's worth participating in anyway? But take it where you want, my man, to finish off the question.
Yeah, look, I think I'm kind of... If we don't get Europe at all, I think it brings up more questions than answers, right? Because then there's even more pressure on the Harry Kane question. Is he going to stay if there's no Europe? I think it's... Look, I think I'm with Dave as well. If we're going to go into it, we need to have a plan. And what that plan is it a plan of... Is it a plan of doing what Roma have done and build in that situation and sit there and say, right, our plan for the next 3 years is to develop X amount of youth players into the team? Is it to, because we don't have a plan. That's what's clear at the moment. We don't have a plan. We dismiss the League Cup. We dismiss the FA Cup. We dismiss everything, all to focus on getting top four. And we've seen this year, okay, Liverpool have come back, but they're not going to be in the same situation as they are next year. Chelsea, I'm sure they're not going to be in that same situation next year. Brighton have got stronger. Newcastle are there. Villa, is it a flash in a pan? Who knows? Brentford, there's so many. This league is so strong now that it needs to. If we're going to do it, and we do finish, look, I think the way that we're playing, I think we struggle to win a game between now and the end of the season, and that's not me being pessimistic or not following the rules of the pump up. But
the rules are different. The rules.
I think. Look, I think today is a massive game. Look, Palace have shown what they've done and everything else, but I think if we don't win today, I think it could be very difficult for us to be looking at anything apart from one game a week, and then the problems that arises on top of no manager, no director of football, no women's manager. 19 of the 25 potentially either out of contract, we don't want them, or they're out on loan. It's a very, we sit there and go back to last summer and kind of think, oh, we've won the transfer window and all that nonsense, but we've got a hell of a lot to do between now and the start of next season, and we need to really think of how we, it kind of needs to start. If we finish with 4 wins miraculously out of this and then we get Europa, then great. But then where's the next plan? It just seems that there's no plan. And that's that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we have only got 6 minutes before the teams are out. We'll bring them up in a moment. We'll pivot back once we get through this next question and then into the teams. We can pivot back for the last 15 minutes towards the bigger picture. But let's just get round for the next 5 minutes before the teams come out, talking about how competitive the league is right now. I agree with you, Nick. I think that arguably from second down to 10th, or maybe third down to 10th, the margins are, the margins of difference are so thin right now. Everyone can beat anyone in the league generally on their day, especially when you go away from home. But Crystal Palace is a team that you would traditionally look at on the fixture list and say, Tottenham should be able to get 3 points at home against these guys. But under Roy Hodgson, Crystal Palace have had a lot of galvanised results and performances out of some very, very tricky players. Barry, I'll stick with you for that first one, and we'll pivot round again. What do you expect to see from today? And, before we get into the actual specific team, is there any particular players that you want to see brought back in or that are left out, or do you want to see more of the same, a different formation? What are you hoping to see, and how do you overcome this very tricky Crystal Palace side?
I mean, look, I think if I was Roy Hodgson in Crystal Palace, I'll be saying go and run at Tottenham's defence for the first 10 minutes because they won't be able to. They won't be able to handle it. The crowd will be on our backs. I think it's going to be more of the same. We've seen what we're kind of down to the bare bones, and then some with what we've kind of got left, right? So, I mean, I'd probably want Longley to come in instead of Davis. because Davis looked way off the mark at Anfield last Sunday. And I'd probably say, you know, the question mark. Look, Richie looked hungry at Anfield. He looked, you know, there was a time, and I said it you wouldn't have seen it. Obviously, I was at Anfield on Sunday, and there was a time when just before Sonny scored that second goal, they were going to bring Longley on, and Richie lost his shit on the touchline. He you know, he wants to be on that pitch. So for me, I'd probably put Richie on the left, Son on the right. I don't see there's not much difference between Kulu being on the right. We know that Sonny can cut in and bend those balls in. So look, I think for me, the two changes that I'd like to see is Longley for Davis and Richie for Kulu, because Kulu, I mean, he had less
Longley for Davis.
last week.
You want to keep Dyer in?
Look, I don't think we have what other options apart from Alfie Dorrington do we have? Hey, Dave.
Exactly.
Well, let's find out. Let's go to Dave with that one. Dave, how do you want to see the team set up? Do you want to see Alfie Dorrington brought in? Do you agree with Nick's changes?
Look, I agree with. Look, I think when it comes to Alfie Dorrington, I don't see what we've got to lose by giving the kid a shot, right? It can't be any worse than what Eric Dyer's produced. And I think today you probably need Davies at left wing back if we're going to play that rather than a Perisic, because we know what's going to happen with their tricky wingers. So for me, I think you need someone who's defensively solid there first and foremost. And then you're probably going to play Langley and Romero. But for me, Dyer is a big problem in this team. And, we need accountability at this football club. And what sort of message would it send out to everybody in the squad if you took him out and rewarded Alfie Dorrington? The guy's he's 18 years of age. I get it. He's young. I get it's a big step up from under 18s and under 21s. But you never really truly know if they're good enough unless you give them an opportunity. And in years gone by, we haven't given anyone the opportunity. You've had Dennis Cirkin leaving and going to Sunderland, and it's worked out. You've had Marcus Edwards to even go to Portugal. Now there's rumours talking about 50 million for him. Madueke got bought by Chelsea for massive money. You have a history of these players leaving, and when in reality, I'd argue Madueke would do more than what Bergwijn has done at this club over the last few years, more than Lucas, same as Edwards, and people like that. And for me, I'm at the point, Sean. I get the arguments when it comes to him being a kid and everything else. I get it. But I'm at the point, I can't watch Eric Dyer anymore do what he's doing. Why not give
but is there not a better argument to put Longley in the middle, Davies on the left, Romero on the right, and then stick with Perisic? Is that not less risk? Less risky? So. No?
I don't think so. I think with Perisic down the left-hand side, I worry about him there today. I think, if you could get away with Perisic on that side, if we're going to dominate the ball and be in control of the ball for large portions of the games, because you don't have to worry about the defensive side of the game. Whereas we've seen over the last few weeks, we do have to worry about the defensive side of the game. We're way too open. And for me, I do think you need to play Ben Davies at left back today. And I would just like to see what Alfie Dorrington can do. Because, look, I know he's 18, but he's a big unit for a kid. He's got good legs on him, What I watched in the under-18s Cup final, he didn't put a foot wrong.
He looked fantastic. He looked fantastic. He did. Me, but that's under-18 level, isn't it? That's the difference for me.
I get it. I get there's a step up. But, Sean, the old saying goes, age doesn't matter. If you're good enough, you're old enough. The only way you know they're good enough is by giving them an opportunity. Ideally, I would like to see what he's like in a Europa Conference League or an FA Cup or a League Cup next season. But we're at the point right now, what have we got to lose then looking at some of these guys over the next 4 games, even if it's off the bench? What have we got to lose?
No, I hear you. We've got 1 minute until, I'm just checking now. They should be out. They're not out yet. Amir, quickly before the actual, just a chance to mudge yourself like Dave and Barry have had. Any particular preference, and then we'll see if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm fully with Richie coming on. The guy's so hungry; he's got to be up there for me, and he'll do fantastically if he gets the start. I'm sure. When it comes to Dorrington, I'm fully with David. You've got to get him in. And 18, all this nonsense about 18 being young. Barcelona just played a 15-year-old, and he did fantastically on his debut. Absolutely, 15. Yeah, 15.
I thought it was a league.
But he played a couple of minutes, didn't he? He wasn't.
He played a few minutes, surely, but he did fantastically. He could have scored and assisted in just that small amount of time. Right. So it's
guys, guess who's back? Guess who's back today, boys?
He's
back in today. Now, Dave, you got the control of you. Can you put the screen up? You got.
Oh
the
yeah.
screen up.
Sorry, my bad.
Yes,
Who
Emerson's
is
back.
today.
All right, so we
Emma
got
Goat is
Fraser.
back, boys. Emma
Fraser
Goat is
Foster in
back.
goal. Wow. Fraser Foster in goal. Emerson Royale, Christian Romero, Longley, Pedro Porro, and David. What the hell is this? Is a back four. We got Royale, Romero, Longley, and
Davies is
Davies.
in back five. Unless
The back
Porro's
five,
playing
sorry.
as someone else. Yeah, do you know what,
yeah,
Sean?
so
It's hard to
Romero-
make this out.
Is Royale playing on the right side of? Hang on, what? How's Porro in the team and Royale and Romero, Longley, and Davies?
The only thing I can
Skippy and
think of,
Højbjerg.
Sean,
Yeah.
sorry,
go on.
just quickly, the only thing I can think of is if Royale is playing right-sided centre-back with
Yeah, I think
Romero
that's
and
what he's
Lenglet
doing.
forming the
Yeah,
back line.
Royale's playing right-sided centre-back. That must be it. 100%.
That's
Could
what he's
be.
doing, Dave.
That must be it. Unless it's a 4-4, unless it's a 4-3-3 that includes Pedro Porro in the midfield somehow.
back.
But no, you're right. No, it's not that. You're right. I think we're playing Royale at right-sided. His first game back from injury, and it looks like Emerson Royale's playing in the right-sided centre-back for the first time. Does that mean Romero's playing in the middle and Longley on the left?
Yep.
This is incredibly experimental from the youngster, from Ryan
Do you know what,
Mason.
Sean?
Wowzers! I love it. I love it. Let's see what happens.
I don't mind the Royale and Romero combination. It'd be very interesting to see how it gets on, because when it was right back and right-sided centre-back, it was our strongest partnership across that back line this season that I've seen. For me, it'd be very interesting to see how they get on. However, if I was Ryan Mason, I would have...
It's a 4-4-2, mate. It could be a 4-4-2, you know. Sorry. It could be a 4-4-2. A straight-up traditional, back to the old school Harry Redknapp, an old Harry Redknapp 4-4-2 with Royale at right back, Davies at left back, Romero and Longley in the middle, Porro on the right, Sonny on the left, Kane and Richarlison up top with Skippy and Højbjerg in the middle. Wow, sorry, Dave. Sorry to interrupt, mate. Carry on with your point. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
No, look, I think you're right. It's hard to know what it's going to be, because in the pre-match presser, they asked Ryan about switching to a back four, and he didn't sort of give anything away. And it could be a fact that Pedro Porro might be used a bit further up the field. You might even see the likes of Son being moved inside with Pedro Porro on one side and Richarlison on the other side. It'd be very interesting, but it very easily could be the same formation that we're used to seeing, just with Royale at right-sided centre-back and Romero at centre-back. Very interesting to see how it gets on. However, if I was Mason, I would have gone one step further. I wouldn't have Dyer on the bench. I'd have Dorrington. I wouldn't have Lucas Moura on the bench. I'd have maybe a Jamie Donnelly or one of the other youngsters. I don't see the point of persisting with these guys on the bench when we just know they're not good enough. Chances are, especially in Lucas' case, he's not going to be here next season. But it'd be very interesting to see what Ryan Mason does today. If you, he's sort of leaving us guessing here. I don't mind that.
I don't know. It could be. It could be a 3-4-3, but there's a hell of a lot of experimentation going on in there. Like Royale straight back from injury and then played in a position he's never played before. I love it too. I'm excited by it, but people are saying it's definitely 3-4-3, and it might well be. We'll see in 56 minutes, but I will also make the argument it could be a 4-4-2.
I will just say, Ryan Mason, at the end of when Jose Mourinho got sacked, for them last 7 games in 2021, he did play a 4-2-3-1. And I wonder, is he reverting back to that? It'd be interesting to see. But sorry, whoever's next. And then after that, after everyone has their thoughts on the lineups, we've got a few super chats to get to.
Yeah, Basil, come to you, mate. First, what are your thoughts? And then we'll come to Amir after that.
Well, look, boys, the GOAT is back. So Barry is pumped up now. Barry was thinking, it's going to be a 2-2. We're going to lose. We're winning this game. I am so pumped now to see Royal back on that pitch. All those haters, you're in the mud. Barry's getting the haircut. Barry is getting the Emma Goat haircut. It's going to be, mate, it's going to be scenes. Going to be absolute scenes today.
Barry, just quickly on Emerson. What do you make of everyone clamoring back to get Emerson back in the team, considering earlier on in the season everyone wanted Red?
Mate, they're in the mud, mate. They can stay in the mud. They can't even say, oh, look, Emerson's back. Emerson's back. Oh, yeah, we wanted him back. You didn't want him back at the start. You can't find any receipts on Barry saying that Emerson was in the mud. So, look, I'm there, man. I'm so happy with this. Not only with what he's done there, he's dropped Dyer as well. He's dropped
Kulusevski and Perisic and Dyer. It's There's a lot of change going on here. People in the comments are convinced it's a 3-4-3. I think, Dave, it could be a 4-2-3-1 with Richarlison up top, Kane stepping in, Sonny and Porro on the right. They could, and then Skippy and Højbjerg playing in the two behind. It could be any number of formations. Amir, what's your take on it, mate? What do you think it is?
I think it's a 3-4-3 as well, Shawnee. You know, I think to change it up to a 4-4-2 would have been too much. And, you know, we saw what happened when we went forward to the back at Newcastle. It just wasn't good, was it? So I think it is a 3-4-3. And to be honest, the changes, look, Dyer being out of there, delighted about that. Absolutely delighted about that. Royale coming back in, I think, you know, fantastic. The guy, you know, for his lack of ability going forward, he's fantastic defending. He's the one actually that really spurred us on towards the end of last season and helped us get top 4. So I'm really delighted to see him in the team. And I think this lineup really shows that Mason, you know, he's got some cojones to do this and stick Kulusevski on the bench, stick Perisic on the bench. They've got to be hungry for it coming off the bench. You know, if it doesn't work out, we need a goal. Kulu can come on. Perisic can come on and affect the game. So I'm really happy about this lineup. And I'm with you, Bazza. I think we're going to do it today. I think we've got them. I think we're going to beat them. So
the only other thing that I would say, if we are going to stick 3-4-3 or 3-4-2 and 1, is that Emerson could go left wing back.
Yeah.
Emerson left wing back. People in the comments are saying potentially Porro left wing back. I think everyone's speculating here. It's interesting. It's interesting. What's Roy Hodgson going to do right now? He's sitting there going, "Oh, I didn't expect."
Mate, this is a massive curveball, right? Because they're probably thinking Dyer's going to play, Perisic is going to play. But look, we've gone for. Look, it'd be interesting to see Emerson come back, right? But we've got pace. We've got pace, pure pace now in those wing backs, right? From both of them. So. Look, and we know that it just goes to show that if Emerson does start on that left-hand side, I mean, it just goes to show they're not trusting Dyer, which is great because, I mean, we know how bad he's been. I mean, he's probably injured, right? Like Hugo, he's probably joined the injured in the pre-match warm-up nonsense we'll probably get. And Elias in the comments, let's see what my boy Emerson does. Yeah. How did we go when Emerson was out of the team? We didn't do very well when Emerson wasn't in the team. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Honestly, wherever Emerson's playing, look, I'd love it if we did go with Emerson at right back and Porro at right wing, because we've all been kind of calling for that for the last.
It's been interesting to see that one, haven't we? Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how we line up, but it's exciting. I think. I think
brave of Ryan Mason. Is this Ryan Mason's hat in the ring for the job? If this one pulls off today and we get a commanding win, is this his way of saying, "See, I'm ready. I'm not afraid to change things up"?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everyone was worried. Obviously Dyer being his mate, obviously Winks coming back. Winks could potentially come back into that midfield. Look, I think look, I guess we've got nothing to lose, right? And at the end of the day, we have got people that can come off the bench now, where you have got Perisic to come off the bench, Kulu. It's a lot better to have an impact. And yeah, I mean, look, if we go and suddenly run riot in this game, it could be Ryan Mason throwing his hat in the ring. So
what I will say
I want that. But
what I will say about the formation, it'd be interesting to see if it's one of them where we defend in sort of a 5-2-3 and attack in a 4-2-3-1. It sort of opens up for that sort of fluidity between the formations in the game. But look, I've narrowed it down. I think it's either a 4-2-3-1, the fact that he's took Dyer out, and I think he might be looking at going to a back 4, and I think you'll see Pedro Porro playing the forward area. Or it could be what I said earlier on, where it's the 3-4-3, but with Emerson playing right side of centre back, and then left wing back. It'd be very interesting to see what he's saying. But Sean, let's get to some of these super chats, my man.
Yeah, 100%. I'll give this one to Amir Moondog, or I think this is referencing Alfie Dorrington's today's point. Actually, I'll let Dave. Amir, I'll give you the next one. Dave, this is almost aimed at you. Michael Owen was 18 when he got to the World Cup. I think he was actually 17, wasn't he, when he played in the French World Cup in 1998?
Yeah, he was.
Is that the point?
Well.
Is Alfie Dorrington on the same level as Michael Owen?
I'm not saying he's on the same level as Michael Owen. What I will say is that forwards, when they're younger, tend to generate more attention than what a centre back or defender does, in my opinion. But look, I'm one of them. If I look at the kid and I believe he's good enough, I wouldn't hesitate throwing him in there, or at least giving him some minutes just to see. For me, age is only a number. You're either good enough or you're not. You see, Dyer is 28, 29, 30. We know he's not good enough. For me, I'm at the point where I wanted to see something different today. I didn't get to see Alfie Darlington thrown in there, but credit to Mason, he's given me something different. And I think, if we put in a sturdy performance today with no real sort of hiccups across the back line, it ain't looking good for Eric Dyer after that, in my opinion. So let's wait and see what happens. 100%. But big up, Moondog.
So Nate D, big up, Nate. Thank you, Moondog, for the super chat, mate. Nate D is saying, Amir, he's saying, if you don't want to play for that Spurs crest on your shirt, get out of the club. Play with passion. Come on, you Spurs. Who's he aiming that one at, Amir?
I think at a lot of them.
Is that a little dig at Romero potentially? Is it a little dig at other players like Eric Dyer? Who's it a dig at?
I don't want to name names. But
name them. That's what we do. That's the rules on this channel. It's the rules. Name things.
But Nate is spot on. He's spot on. All the players have to show the fight and the will to play for Tottenham. I was looking at Brighton and the way they won the other day. And they're all together. They're all in it for the team. They're an example of a cohesive unit that is working together for a shared goal to push that team into Europe. I remember when they were nearly bankrupt and in the Championship. They were a complete mess. So we need to look at what they're doing and apply it to our players. We haven't had that since Poch. It's been years. It's been years since we've had everyone pushing in the same direction. And I'm hoping, obviously, for me, Mason isn't the man to lead us forward, but he is the man for now to try and get these guys together. We know that Moura's not going to be around. We know a few players are going to leave in the summer. We know we're going to bring in some new additions. It has to be about creating a team environment. One star player can help out a team and really push you on, but you're not going to win anything with just one player. Has to be a cohesive unit working together, and hopefully Mason has got them all on the same page and pushing for Europe. And yeah, spot on, Nate. Spot on with that super.
Big up, Nate. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Do you want to jump back quickly? Yeah, Jack Kanicki, big up, Jack. He's we were just on the Irish Hotspur a minute ago, and one of the questions that Jack put to us was, if Emerson's fit, do we participate with the back four today? And we all kind of dismissed it as Emerson's nowhere near fit enough. It's an irrelevant question, but Jack was right. Barry was right. Barry, what do you want to say to Jack?
Jack, big up, man. Look, there's some big words for Mason coming out. Listen to this. Tottenham interim manager Ryan Mason say his players are playing for their careers in the remaining 4 games of the season. Oh, my God. Mason is coming out with the bombs. He's dropping it all in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today. He goes,
good on him.
31 years old, telling them what's on the line here. We love this.
Is
stuff.
he protecting Dyer by taking him out?
The final thing was the players are playing for their careers to be here next season. Mic drop. Mason out.
Is he protecting Dyer? Is he protecting Dyer by taking him out though? No.
Mate, he's dropped everybody that's. Hasn't he dropped everybody that's older than him? Dyer's older than him. Perisic is older than him. I think Hugo Lloris is older than him. Obviously, Foster's also older than him, but you didn't have any choice there. Is there anybody on the pitch that's older than 32-year-old Ryan Mason? I'm not sure there is there?
No, Mason in the week. He almost had a dig at Conte because he said about the pressure. I don't like the word pressure. I don't like using those words. He's now said the players are playing for their careers for next season.
He's throwing haymakers. He is throwing haymakers.
He's just literally come into the Royal Rumble and just put everyone over the top rope and just gone, come on, who's next?
Unbelievable.
Mason
Big
in.
up, Jack.
Mason in.
Mason in. Wow. Thank you for the super chat, Jack. Moondog's back again. Another one. Big up, Moondog. He's saying 3-4-2-1 for sure. A definite 3-4-2-1 in his mind. Now, I'll be honest. I think we're all speculating a little bit. You could make the argument that it could be a 3-4-3. It could be a 3-5-2. It could be a 4-2-3-1. It could be a 4-4-2. I think that I'd take your point, Jack, Dave. You said earlier that maybe there's obviously going to be structural setups here. When we don't have the ball, you're probably going to pivot. You'll see Emerson tuck in, Porro try and get back, maybe make more of a back five, a 5-4-1 or something. But when we have the ball is how we're going to be interesting to see how we line up. Does Porro have the freedom to get forward? Is he going to put in an absolute worldie today without having to have that defensive responsibility quite as much on his shoulders? And if so, what's that going to do for Decky? Is Decky going to be looking over his shoulder and thinking, I don't know, they haven't made my deal permanent yet. Maybe Porro's going to be chomping at his coattails. What are your thoughts on that one, Dave?
I think, look, with Pedro Porro, I think he's produced more from further back at the pitch than what Kulusevski has, right, over the last while. And that's no slight at Kulusevski, because I think, look, Spurs fans absolutely adore that guy, but the guy's at 22, 23. He's come back off a bit of an injury. He hasn't been the same player since. But at that age, you've got to sort of drill it into them that, being inconsistent at this top level is not good enough. You've got to find that consistency week in, week out, and maybe by dropping him, it might actually help him, to be honest with you. I actually have a sneaky feeling it could be a 4-2-3-1 with Porro on the right and Kane in the camera with Richie ahead of him. It'd be very, very interesting to see how that pans out. But look, with Richie, with Kulu, it's, I would be saying to him, keep your head up. You're going to come off the bench, and there's no guarantee that Richie's going to produce today. So you might end up seeing Kulusevski come back in and resume his role. There's no guarantee if Pedro Porro plays on the right that he's going to produce today either. So for me, I think there's still plenty to play for Kulu, and I wouldn't be disheartened and downhearted. And I just hope Mason maybe sort of pulled him in and maybe explain it to him beforehand, because if I was a manager, there's certain players I would be putting in and saying, look, don't get too disheartened by it. I just want to try a couple of things. And then there's certain players where I'd say, look, you know what, you're not playing.
Yeah, listen, look, it's very interesting. It's super exciting, and I'm impressed with Ryan Mason's courage here to go out of his way to try and. I think it has to come down to him trying to make a statement for himself, and hopefully the players will respond. And it's going to add a lot more texture to this game and a lot of things we have to figure out afterwards. Hollywood Hotspur, big up Hollywood, mate. I hope you're okay, bro. Not seen you for a long time, my man. I hope you're all happy and healthy out in the West Coast. He's saying, if it's a 4-2-3-1. Who leads the line, Kane or Richie? And then Kane in the 10. Amir, do you want to take this one, buddy? If it is a 4-2-3-1, what do you see the front looking like?
Yeah, if it's a 4-2-3-1, potentially Richie could be leading the line and Kane could just be there in behind him. Would be a very interesting experiment, although I still am in the mind that it's a 3-4-3 and he's sticking with what we've been doing a lot of the season. But look, seeing Kane can do anything. He can play in that 10. He can lead the line. He can really do anything. And for me, you've got to keep him up at the top. You've got to keep him up at the top. It would be interesting to see him in that cam role, but for me, you've got to keep him up top. You've got to keep him there. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thanks, mate. Thank you, Hollywood Hotspur. There you go. Listen, guys, we've got 10 minutes left. I do want to take the conversation back in some other directions quickly. There's someone, AA keeps asking about Danjuma. We're going to come to him in a second. I do want to get the boys' opinions on Danjuma and his absence once again. But before we do, let's just get through the Crystal Palace lineup. You've got Johnston in goal. You've got Mark Guehi, Tottenham candidate. Joachim Anderson in the back two, in the centre-backs. You've got Ward Mitchell. You've got Eze, Doucouré and Schlupp in the middle. In the midfield, and then Elise on the right, Ayew on the left, or maybe Ayew up front actually, and then Zaha on the left. I'm not sure how those two will line up specifically. It's a pretty predictable team. Obviously the danger men there. Eze's incredible talent at the moment. I was in the mud. Earlier on this season, Sava talked Spurs. Sava was saying, "Oh, he'd take Eze." I was like, "Oh, come on, get over it." But ever since then, Eze's just absolutely set new standards at Crystal Palace. A phenomenal talent. So. I got that one wrong for sure, like I often do. But at least stay on the right, very, very, very technical, talented player. You know what you're getting with Wilfried Zaha, danger man. Ayew was also dangerous as well. For me, the front look, as you'd expect, very tricky, very disciplined and technical. But at the back, I think that there is opportunities down the wings. We know Guehi and Anderson are very solid. Although positionally, I do think that Guehi is a little bit like Romero. He reminds me of Romero with his concentration. We saw away at Palace earlier on in the season where he got himself in a whole bunch of problems positionally for one of our goals. Look, any surprises there, Dave? Where do you see the opportunities for Tottenham to gain some advantage over the course of the next 90 minutes?
I'd be targeting Ward's side, to be honest with you. Gil Messi gave him a torrid time in the reverse fixture. And for me, I think that's where the biggest weakness is. So for me, I'd be looking to get the ball down there at all opportunities. I believe Ward would probably be playing right back, if I'm correct. So, look,
Mitchell
for
on the
me,
left,
I think that's definitely their biggest weakness with Ward. Midfield, I think will dominate the midfield battle as well. If I think we can get on top of that midfield at the core age, look, I think Neuberg and Skip are better. I do fear that forward line. You've got fast, dynamic players, very skillful, very tricky. We've seen how our defense has come up against them in recent weeks. However, you know, whether it's a back four or back three, I think you've got better personnel in there with a Romero, with an Emerson who gets stuck in as well, and a Langley. So for me, I do think we'll win today's game, but yeah, I think Ward is where you get at massively. Get in behind him. That means you're pulling Guay and Anderson all over the place. So for me, that's where I'll be targeting today.
Bazza, the prospect of Elise running at Longley, is that a little bit terrifying? It is to me. Is that where do you see the biggest threats? Obviously, we know that, like I said, they've got an incredible balance to their forward line. They can run at you any side. But if you're Roy Hodgson, do you give them any instruction? How do you go about it? Would you rather them attack at Emerson's side, or would you rather attack them down Longley and see if you can get after that turning circle that he's got, which is so big? It's like an oil tanker turning at sea.
I mean, obviously that I think the danger is going to be on that left hand side with Longley and Davis. But look, I think that Palace have been rejuvenated under Roy Hodgson. I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, they probably would have done the same under Vieira." They've had some easy fixtures, and they've got they had some tough fixtures, and now they've got some easy fixtures. But look, I think it's. I think if I was Roy Hodgson, I'd just be telling all of them to just run at that defence, because we know under pressure, the players, Conte called it right. Under pressure, the players crumble, right? So if that happens, we get we concede an early goal. Look, I think we potentially might do, but I think we've got enough. This could be. I could see this being like the Southampton game. We concede early. But then we come back and win 4-1. I've completely changed my opinion of where we were going in terms of being a draw, especially seeing the teams now. So I've done as much as Sean's self-mudded himself. Barry's done a bit of a flip-flop and gone from a draw to a win. But yeah, we just need to be careful. It's going to be, they're playing freely.
You know the rules.
Sorry?
You know the rules.
I know the rules.
You know the rules.
Self-mudding rules. Sean can self-mud himself, but it's fine. But look, I think Palace are going to be dangerous. You've seen what they did. You saw what they did against West Ham. I know West Ham have, they kind of got one eye on Thursday as well, right? And they, but look, they can hurt us if they want to. We just need to be together. It's going to be interesting. But I'm just really, really pleased with what we can achieve with this, and hopefully by having the players that we've got in it, it allows Skippy and Højbjerg to turn up today, because Højbjerg in particular has kind of gone missing the last few weeks.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Couple of players that obviously we've seen a lot of changes to the 11 that I think a lot of people were happy to see, but there's a couple of people obviously that maybe could be commanding more minutes that aren't. Amir, Pape Sarr and Dan Juma are the obvious names that haven't had that many minutes when they have played for Tottenham this season. I don't think anyone would say that they've let themselves down. We know Pape Sarr had a brilliant performance, man of the match in my opinion at Milan away. Whenever he's come in, I know he got subbed off, he got hooked early against Newcastle away, but I don't think that was necessarily down to him specifically. I think that the whole setup and the team generally were just an absolute shambolic entity that day. We'll talk about both of them. Do either of those guys, should either of those two feel a little bit sorry for themselves that when it's finally come to a situation where the manager has made wholesale changes or significant changes to the team, they still can't get on the starting 11, despite, as you say, as I've said, that the both of them have played well, and you can make the argument that players that they could be coming in for haven't necessarily lit it up when they've been playing as well. So Danjuma and Sarr, should they be in? Should they feel sorry for themselves? What's your take on that?
I don't think they should feel sorry for themselves. They've just got to do more to try and get into that team and show, on the training pitch what their abilities. I do think they can be, a little bit frustrated with the situation, especially Dan Juma for me, because every time he's come on, he seemed like a really energetic player, running at players. I've liked what I've seen from Dan Juma, and Pape Sarr. He's still young, so I think chucking him into such a huge game like today, because, like I said, our European fight all swivels on this one. I think it's all right leaving him out, because think what happened to him at Newcastle. Can't have done his confidence any good. So I think they can be frustrated with the situation. But yeah, they shouldn't, hold their heads down or anything. They'll get their opportunity. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I agree. Some people in the chat saying that Dan Juma's bang average. Other people saying he's a good finisher. Me personally, just quickly on my take, I don't think that we had anywhere near enough moments to see enough minutes to really judge him. And look, with the impending outgoings of Lucas Moura and him, if we don't make a decision on him, Dave, I'll come to you on this one. Like Dan Juma, apparently the asking price, if you wanted to make it the deal permanent, would be pretty prohibitive, like somewhere around 25, 30 million. We're running out of time to really judge this guy. Should he have got the minutes today? Or if you're going to drop Decky and Sonny I think Sonny's back to something like his best, or he's looking far better. So maybe he deserves to stay in the team, but does Richarlison deserve to be in ahead of Dan Juma because him getting the goal at Anfield? What's your take on Dan Juma? And also, of course, if you can, spend some time talking about Pape Sarr as well.
Yeah, look, when it comes to Dan Juma, I think I agree with you guys. I think, look, first of all, the minutes we have given him, I think he's took nearly every single opportunity. But for me, I haven't seen enough of the guy to be able to sort of say, yeah, bring him in permanently. I think what we plan to do is, like, Gil provided a lot of energy, but there was still rawness to his game. So I think we look to develop him and send him out on loan and bring in Dan Juma to sort of cover that gap, that hole in the team. And I'm just not sure that Dan Juma is probably long-term what Spurs are looking at. For me, I don't really think we're going to take up the signing of Dan Juma, to be honest with you. I think, but you've also got a question, multiple managers have seen this guy behind the scenes. Why haven't they played him? Why haven't they given him that opportunity? You're talking about Conte, Stellini, and Mason. Not one of them have given the guy the opportunity. So maybe that says a lot of what they're seeing in training and stuff like that. But for me, yeah, I'm not 100% convinced that we should be signing Dan Juma permanently.
Does he deserve a start though in the next 4 games or the next 3 games? Does he deserve a start or not?
No, look, he's a temporary solution. We haven't signed him permanently or anything like that. For me, it's not like we signed him with an obligation to buy like we've done with previous players. For me, you've got to you lumped out 60 million on Richarlison. You've got to sort of persist with the guy. You've got to give him opportunities. And for me, I can understand why they're giving someone like Richarlison opportunities over Dan Juma. I can understand why they're persisting with Kulusevski over Dan Juma, because the chances are, inside the club, they know Dan Juma is not going to be here beyond the summer.
Yeah.
Look, when it comes to Pape Sarr, what was the point of keeping the kid here if he's not going to play? I know, because of injuries and all, it'd probably benefit us for keeping the kid around and stuff like that. But look, what I've seen from this kid, I've really liked. AC Milan, best player on the pitch, in my opinion. 19 years of age. I think came on against Palace in the home game where Skip actually struggled when Palace were at home at Selhurst Park. Skip struggled that day. Sarr came on, got on the ball, started moving it left to right, brought this calmness and stuff like that. And we're missing that since Bentancur has gone out injured. I don't understand why we're not giving someone like Sarr a bit more of a chance.
Ahead of who?
Look, Skip or Højbjerg. I think, Højbjerg, he's absolutely finished. His legs he's done for the season. His legs are not there. This guy has missed, I think, only about 10 games since we signed him across all competitions, plus international competitions in the summer breaks and stuff like that. He's absolutely spent. Skip, I think, good defensive midfielder, but on the ball, he's not good enough. And that's not a slight at Skip. I think if he wants to make it, he needs to learn to be better on the ball. You look at Harry Winks. When he was coming through, he was better on the ball than Skip, but didn't have defensive work side of the work to his game. But with Harry Winks, he never developed his passing range or properly on the ball or that physicality side. And look what ended up happening to his career. And I think with someone like Ollie Skip, I think he does need to start developing that passing side of his game to ensure that he stays at Tottenham long term and in the Premier League long term. So for me, I think there's been an opportunity for either of them to come out of the team and give Sarah a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Before we round off and get your score predictions, Bazza, need to get your take as well, mate. And then so Danjuma and Ollie and Pape Sarr, did they deserve any moments more than they've got? Should they be playing today or before the end of the season? And then after you finish giving us that, also let us know your score prediction, what you expect, and where people can find you, my man.
Yeah, look, I think it was a strange one. I didn't really understand the Danjuma loan. If he was coming in, he should have had more opportunities. For whatever reason, he hasn't. Sarr again, I think he's been maybe with everything that's kind of going on. He's kind of, obviously him and Skippy in that midfield at San Siro. I don't really think, I don't really understand what he kind of could have done any more in that game, right? So, no, I think Sarr maybe will feel more aggrieved than Danjuma. So that's that from me. I'm going 4-1 Spurs, man. I'm going 4-1 Spurs today. I think that with the team that we've chosen,
you've gone from a draw to not only a win, but a comfortable demolishing of Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Flip flops are us.
Yeah. Flip flops are us. Look, if you can self mud, I can self flip flop. Yeah. So that's fine. So you can self mud, I'll self flip flop. I did say it was going to be 2-2. Mason has come and dropped the bomb, and he's got Barry excited because the GOAT is back in the team. So
who's scoring?
Mate,
is Emerson scoring and doing a chicken dance to compliment the pigeon?
Hey, mate, if Emerson scores today, I'm going after everyone. I am literally finding tweets. I'm getting the receipts. I'm literally going after everyone. I reckon we're gonna have a Son and a Kane and maybe a Porro and a Royale masterclass. Four goals, one from all of them. Because look, when last time I think Emerson played, and obviously Emerson scored, Davis scored, so the wing backs were scoring, right? So, mate, Emerson, can you imagine Emerson scores today? You better put your phones away. There's going to be messages flying. I mean, I've already sent about 200 messages out, putting everyone in the mud. So it's just, I don't care. I just think 4-1, and we're there.
I'm not sure you understand how mud works. Just because Emerson's in the team doesn't mean people are in the mud.
They are in the mud. They are in the mud. Bazza says it. Bazza's coming.
Right, fair enough,
mate. Look! I'm growing the hair as well because the haircut is coming. The shepherd's pie haircut is coming. I did say we did it. I did say I'd do it if we got top 4, but we're going to do it, people, just to bring some love and laughter to the YouTube community.
Well done,
Bazza with the shepherd's pie haircut.
So 4-1 Tottenham, and you're saying it's a sprinkling of goals from everybody. And where can everyone find you, my man?
You can find me putting everyone in the mud later, or if you don't want to find that, you can find me on Shelfside Spurs Show. So
there you go. Thanks, mate.
I'll put the hat back on. I only put the hat on because I'm the only one with no hat, and this was the only thing I could find. So
I'll get you a mud hat later, mate. Yeah. And then Amir, what's your scoreline, buddy? Your prediction? Who's going to score if we can? And where can everyone find you, buddy?
So I'm going to go with a 3-0. Dyer's out the team. Royale's back. I think we're getting a clean sheet somehow. We're going to shore it up at the back. I think Richie's going to get on the score sheet for sure. Then either Kane or Song, and maybe a Porro as well. I think Porro's shown, he's got scoring ability and he's great going forward. So I think Porro might nick a little goal as well. Can find me, on here every now and again on the post-match shows, the pre-match pump-ups, and over in Israel Uncovered, just trying to show people the beautiful nature and archaeology and sites of Israel. So if you're interested in that stuff, you can hop on over there. I'm really excited for this one, guys. And I think, we can better Palace today and hopefully get a bit of team unity together for the last 3 games. and maybe we just sneak into Europe.
There you go. Listen, I don't think I've been on a pump-up show with so much optimism, all based around so much experimentation in the team. And listen, I really hope that this goes well, because if after 3 minutes we're 2-0 down, I can just imagine all the clips.
All the Eric Dyer
fans. No. All the Eric Dyer fans are back. Dave, what's your score prediction, buddy, and where can people find you?
Yeah, first of all, big up Mungie32, new YouTube member as well. Make sure you get on them post-match fan shows, my man, after every single game. Big yourself up. Yeah, look, for me, I'm going to stick with my score prediction that I started earlier. I'm going to stick with a 4-1. I think I was confident of beating Palace today regardless. I think we'll see a much more better performance in general with the team that Ryan Mason has put out. I don't really see too many weak links in that team, so I'm expecting a strong team performance, maybe something a bit cohesive. I'm actually going to stick with 4-1. I'm going to go, of course, I'm Harry Kane's #1 fan. I think he scores today. I'm going to go with a brace for him. And I'm with Amir, as Pedro Porro's prison guard, and also in the cell beside him, prison number 3,496. I also believe Pedro Porro might score today, Shawnee.
Nice.
You can find me over the Irish Hotspur if you want to listen to more of what I have to say.
Yeah, make sure you guys do get over to the Irish Hotspur, to Israel Uncovered, and to Shelfside Spurs. And also you can find me at the Spurs Talk Show. Where we talk about all the same stuff everyone else talks about, and some other things as well. My personal prediction is going to be, I've had a big bet on there being more than 3 goals. I actually think it's going to be more than 5 goals, but the odds were a little bit too restricted for that. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I think Spurs are going to win it 3-2, and I'm excited to see how this experimentation goes. But listen, I've never seen 4 people on the panel equally so pumped up about so much experimentation. I hope you've enjoyed the show, guys. Let us know your predictions as we are saying goodbye. I can see them coming in. We got 2-1 from Movie Guy. We got 3-1 from Ronnie. Everyone's predicting goals. Let's hope we can have an enjoyable game. No injuries, and hopefully some of the new guys coming in could do well. Big up to everyone that's joined us. Guys, smash the like button if you haven't already on your way out. Hit the subscribe button to all these people around us, and of course the channel We Are Tottenham TV. We're going to hand over now to the captains of the channel, Ben and Sim, in the studio. Come on, you Spurs. And who do we trust? Who do we trust, Dave?
In the Irish Hotspur, we trust. Why not? We could be in Spurs Talk, so we trust. Do you know what, actually? Today, I'm going to go with Emerson, we trust. He's been Dyer's been taken out. Emerson, so I'm going with Emerson today.
There we go. Come on, you Spurs, and in Emerson, we trust.
We trust.
Cheers, guys.
Come on.